For every adventure, the podcast that dives deep into everything outdoor.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. I'm Kyle Desh. Now that makes this For Every Adventure brought to you by Outdoor Warehouse.
Hey Kyle, so caravanning, that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, where to start, how to prep, top places to go caravanning, or at least Aletta's favorite places to go caravanning, and our systematic conversion from preferring camping to, hey, maybe now I prefer caravanning.
Yeah, so it's literally for everyone. If you're already someone that enjoys caravanning and camping, or if you're just starting out, it's going to be very interesting. I think Aletta de Bruyn, being a caravanning enthusiast and also a buyer for Outdoor Warehouse.
Yes.
She's got all the info for us and also a couple of cool products that she shared with us.
Let's climb in.
For Every Adventure, an outdoor podcast experience brought to you by Outdoor Warehouse.
So Chanel, we've been hiking, we've been camping, we did some landscape photography, we've been traveling. Today we hike the caravan and we hit the road.
Awesome. Yes. So we'll talk everything caravan and everything that comes with it. So, have you been caravanning, Kyle?
I have not been caravanning. I have this faint memory when I was a child of staying in a caravan and not finding it comfortable. But that was, I don't want to have an existential crisis, but that was like 25 years ago about.
Okay.
And since then, I've had nothing to do with a caravan. And my point of view has always been camping is better than caravanning.
I see.
Because the point is getting away, getting into nature, getting rid of all the nice things, the creature comforts of your day to day. And as I sort of thought more about caravanning, I am now at a place, maybe I would prefer caravanning. When you think about the reasons for caravanning, I might prefer it.
That's quite interesting. Okay, so there's a shift. So we'll see how this discussion goes today. And then afterwards, you can also share what you think.
Yeah.
You know, when you camp and you're on holiday and you kind of want to get down and use your time to read a book, and all of a sudden there's this, person that decides, okay, they're going to now play out of their boot, and you're like, how can I now get into my book? That to me, your house, like your bed, that sort of vibe is sacred. Like you want peace, and that's why the campsite thing, I think, is not my favorite idea. Like, I want to hear nature sounds.
Okay. Get like a landscape album for you. Just put it on your Bluetooth
Put your earphones
speaker.
on. Oh, I suppose that's an idea. But for me, I think caravanning out in nature, sort of a more remote idea, that's the sort of caravan I want to be in. So I'm all for that. And I did quite a bit of that growing up as well.
Okay, that makes sense. And I agree with you. I would also prefer caravanning in a remote location, probably. But I would want a family with me. And I think there's a sense of community when it comes to caravanning. But for me, getting out into nature is maybe getting away from certain things. And you may like crowds a bit more, but overall, I would prefer a bit more, not solo, but family solo mission when it comes to caravanning.
I suppose there's also a difference if you know where you go every year and you know the people around you. I mean, that becomes like a holiday home then. You know exactly who you're going to see. Everybody knows each other's quirks and things, as to where you don't know where you're ending up. And, you have no control over who that neighbor is going to be for the rest of your holiday. So that's the part that gets me.
Then it's the instant neighbor.
Yes.
Just join the party.
Yeah, I suppose, like for 1 or 2 nights. But then, luister is nou genoeg.
Yeah, exactly. So let me take you through my thought process when it comes to caravanning. So I have a few conditions. If I'm going to go caravanning, it needs to be comfortable enough to justify not going camping. So in that case, give me my bed, give me my electricity, give me a toilet, give me everything I need to go away for a long time. And that's the second condition.
Okay.
I don't want to go camping for 3 weeks. I would rather go caravanning for 3 weeks.
Yes, long term. That makes sense, actually.
Exactly. Can you imagine a 3-week holiday and you're just setting up camping? And especially if you're going from spot to spot every time doing the setup. I mean, there is a setup with caravanning, but I don't think it's as much as camping. Right.
You know what, Kyle? I have to tell you. So I tried the whole campsite thing with a caravan for a weekend. And I thought, what's the big deal? But this is why I'm quite negative about the whole thing, because it felt like it took so long to set everything up. And once it was all set up and I went, oh, okay. And with kids, okay, so can I just add that? And then having to break it all down, it felt like, there was no time to actually have a holiday. So for me, a weekend with a caravan, also being the first time, there was a lot of work. You want to sort of make it comfortable enough, set up all the extra tents and things.
Yeah, but a weekend is too short for caravanning.
It's too short, I agree.
I'm thinking 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a month maybe away, a Hartenbos vakantie in December, something like that. That makes sense to go caravanning.
It does.
But now you get people who permanently caravan. This is their life. They go from spot to spot, sort of like the modern day nomads. Because in the 1800s, it was a sign of luxury if you had a caravan. That time, obviously not
Seriously?
a caravan. Yeah,
Okay.
It was a horse-drawn carriage, obviously. But especially in Europe, it was a sign or a symbol of luxury and elegance if you had your horse-drawn carriage, which had like a bed in and a few other things to
I'm
make
thinking
you comfortable.
Orsevar, so, we might
Die groot
have a
trek.
bit of that
Die groot
in our
trek.
history as well.
Essentially, maybe just a long caravan trip.
Okay.
It sort of makes sense. But I've also thought about like permanently maybe having like a mobile home or RV, as the Americans would say. And in 20 years, I have an idea that I think my answer might differ. But right now, I would not permanently do it, but it sounds so much fun. Going from place to place. All right, for 2 months, we're hitting the Garden route, and then we're going the Northern Cape route for another 2 months. I can now see why people would like caravanning.
I'm all for that.
And the products that are available to make your stay in a caravan better. I did not know that you can get like a nice potty or a nice washing machine and these type of things. So I think in today's age, it's becoming much more comfortable to actually just go caravanning. And it's much the same with camping, to be quite honest.
That's very true.
So you said you had a negative experience. Do you have any good experiences, at least with your caravanning trips? Have you gone on a lot,
Yes, actually. So I was in high school. And we had this, my father was mining close to Berkeley West. And we had this farm next to the Vaal River.
Okay.
And, thinking about today and talking about caravanning, I realized how much time I've spent in a caravan. That's essentially just long-term camping. And what's wonderful about that is, that first cup of coffee in the morning, like that's the best part. And then you literally next to the river. So sometimes we just get up and go fishing in pajamas, and it's like
perfect.
And you've got everything you need right there in nature. And you have to deal with a lot of things. In a remote location like that. It's baboons, it's snakes, it's lightning, it's like the weather.
I would rather be in a caravan when a baboon comes to visit.
You see, so I think you have to take all of that into account, like where you go and the safety of it. And you need to know what to do when there's a snake, coming through your caravan window. So, there's a lot of stories, but overall, it's a very positive feeling for me.
So we're sitting here and we're sort of talking about what we think caravanning is. And we do have a caravanning enthusiast here today, Aletta, and she's going to clear a lot of this up for us. We'll be back right after this.
The outdoor life is for everyone. And our clothes are too. It's made to last in the sun, wind, and weather. Whether you're fishing, hiking, camping, or going to work. Get all your favorite brands like First Ascent, Cape Storm, African Nature, High-Tech, and Columbia all under one roof. Outdoor Warehouse for every adventure. Also shop online.
For Every Adventure podcast, bringing you all the tips and tricks for your next adventure.
So we welcome Aletta de Bruyn. She is from Outdoor Warehouse. They're an apparel buyer and a camping and caravanning enthusiast. Welcome, Aletta.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
So you grew up camping and traveling South Africa, and I think you mentioned Namibia, but it only started, your caravanning, your love for caravanning only started later in life.
Yes, as a child, I never thought I would enjoy caravanning because I never had the experience to caravan. But when I started a family, I have two kids. I realized we started camping over December, so like a long stay that I didn't grow up doing that. And then, so about 6 years ago, we bought our first caravan. And I realized if you do long stay, then a caravan is definitely your best option.
I would think, especially with the family, and as you mentioned, long stays. See, I told you, Chanel, long stays are so much better with the caravan.
Yes. I'm interested to know at what age you started taking the kids camping.
I actually thought about it last night. The first time I went camping with my kids, I was pregnant with my second child. So my son was about 2 years old. Before that, as a first-time mom, I wasn't a bit scared to go camping with a baby.
Yes.
But so they've been camping since they're 2-3 years old.
Do they prefer camping or caravanning?
They, wherever, as long as we do camping, they don't mind. I think my daughter prefers caravanning than sleeping in a tent. But as long as we go away for a weekend and into nature and there's water and like you also mentioned, kids love water, they love fishing and so.
Okay,
yes.
so would you say there are benefits for the kids? Can you see it in how they react when they go camping with you guys?
Yes. There's no technology, there's no TV.
So you don't allow any of that?
Sometimes, but definitely not a TV. It's more sociable. They make friends easily. With long stay camping, like in December's, I've realized kids just need something with wheels.
Yes.
Give them a bicycle or a skateboard or anything.
And then you never see them.
Yeah, and they make friends and kids are so easily adaptable. And if you camp like December's close to the beach, they can go to the beach. It's safe. So that's definitely for kids, it's wonderful.
And also the freedom that comes with it. Our lives are not like that anymore. So it's wonderful for them to just go into nature and, something that I think most kids that don't get out like that into that sort of camping atmosphere, they don't experience that anymore.
Are there any major lessons you've learned from caravanning that you didn't realize when only camping with tents?
I think when you go with a caravan, you can pre-pack everything beforehand, especially if you just go for a weekend. If you work till Friday, you can pre-pack everything, hack the caravan and just go. I love to sleep comfortable, so that was for me a big bonus. Now suddenly you have a bed to sleep on.
Exactly.
Where with tents, you have to sleep on a mattress or a stretcher. And and also our first caravan, we actually had aircon in.
That's
and
what I'm
I didn't
about.
even know that you can have aircon in a caravan, and that was like a big luxury.
Yes.
Life, you learn a lot of lessons from the mistakes you make, right?
Yes.
So is there anything that went wrong that you've learned from with caravanning?
I think with caravanning, you are a bit restricted. You can only go on accessible roads. So I also love camping off-grid. But then you obviously need, with a caravan, you can't go on certain roads. Then a bosvor or camper trail is or tents is more preferable. You just need to plan everything correctly. Depends your location. Yeah.
Exactly. So Drakensberg is maybe not the greatest idea for a certain type of caravan?
Drakens, or like I mentioned the Cedarburg, that you would rather just go with a tent.
Okay.
And
it's just the terrain that's very hard. And I suppose if you're off-grid, you probably don't have signal either. So you could really get stuck with a caravan out nowhere.
And then you would rather go with like a 4x4 camper trail or just a tent.
So caravanning has always been a popular way of camping, but modern times sees, and you mentioned this, bosvans. What's the difference?
Like a bosvar is, I can put like a trailer with a tent that you set up, or you get like a bosvar you can actually sleep like a caravan bosfor inside.
Okay.
So that's becoming very popular in South Africa. I see a lot of pensioners now, they buy their bosfor and they go travel. If you go to travel Namibia or you travel Botswana, then a bosfor is definitely your first choice. A lot of people also would rent like a bosfor for a holiday because they don't want to like buy one. So that's also an option.
It's a huge industry, actually. And I mean, there's like so many options. You can customize this thing, have it built exactly to your vehicle in the way you want it. So it's wonderful. I can understand why people, want to work towards that and, just go off into the sunset and go and enjoy.
Yes, I do think it is something to work towards because I think from a cost point of view, and you're going to know better, Aletta, I don't think it's a cheap exercise to get going. If you want the caravan that suits your needs, it's probably going to cost you a bit and there's going to be maintenance. And I also think about storage. Are these some of the financial challenges you would have with a caravan or a bosfor?
Yes, I think with a caravan, you definitely need to have the space and need to cover it. It's like with a car, you need to take it for a service once a year.
Annually, okay.
But I mean, it doesn't have an engine, so it's just your normal service. But I mean, if you have the space, and I know there is also places that you can rent to if you don't have the space to store it. The other thing that's also coming very popular in South Africa is people renting like RV homes or motorhomes. So you see that they rent it for the holiday and then go to the Kruger and yes.
Yeah, I find an RV quite appealing as well. Have
you seen some of these American
fancy
things? It's like a hotel on wheels.
Definitely.
It's amazing. I can see you doing that, Kyle. It's like rock star life on the road.
My big TV there in the RV, but now I'm glamping, which I'm also not really for.
You see, you said you're not for glamping, but I can hear, like, once you show Kyle the luxuries, he's all for it.
It took 5 episodes of this podcast, and now I just want all the luxuries while I'm in nature. I was thinking also about the community that you form when you go camping or caravanning or camping, but if you go to the same spot every year, if it's like a tradition, like Hartenbos, do you see the same people every year there? Do your kids make friends and they're so excited to see Pietie again,
Yes, definitely. You see the same people. And I mean, also Africans love a braai, and I think that's a very sociable thing. And I mean, if you caravan, you're kind of forced to braai every day. And and you make friends with your neighbors, and yes, it's definitely a very sociable
experience.
Yeah. I want to ask you about this whole prepping and planning thing, because some of us like to sort of wing it, okay? But I don't think there's a lot of space for that when you plan a holiday like this.
Yes.
Now, me, for instance, I don't really enjoy knowing like so many choppies for that night and soveel worsies vir daai, and that everything is literally pre-planned.
No.
So, I mean, people tend to do that, hey? They're like, this couple makes that meal that night and that's what we're eating. I don't want to know what I'm eating in 2 weeks' time. So how do you approach it?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you go camping where you're not close to a store, then it's better to pre-plan. We normally, if we go camping for a weekend with friends, then we would say, it's your choice. Yeah. I like that because then only one night you need to make dinner. So I prefer that. But like for December holiday, then you you just take it as it is.
You take it as it comes.
Because you're close to shops and you just decide that day.
Chaos. I could not do that. Honestly, I would maybe plan week to week, not like the whole month, but I would go, all right, let's go we're going to braai every day, but let's just sort of have an idea. Yeah. But that's just me. I think it's going to be from person to person, the preferences. But there's more to prep than just the food. Obviously, you have a lot of other stuff you take with the accessories, the equipment. Is that also, well, tell me a bit about what you like to prep, how you like to prep.
I like to make a list of what everything you need and tick it off because you don't want to forget important equipment. So that's very, that's very important. And just to make sure you're comfortable and you've got all your accessories. And for I mean, with a caravan, most caravans they've got all the cutlery and that's already, you don't have to remove it from it's like a little strandhuisie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you leave your spices and things all in the cupboard, ready to go. You see, that helps.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will like put my children's like certain board games, I will just leave it there, and their fishing equipment. So I know it's in the caravan, and you can just, I can go.
What's the first item you think about? Because you're making your list and, okay, the kids need this, I need this. What's the first item that pops into your head like, I can't go without this?
Definitely a camping table. You can never have enough camping tables.
Because where do you put the bright tongs, right?
Okay.
And then also, not all camping sites have like a braai. So you need at outerwearers, you can buy like a portable braai. So you need to find out beforehand. And then also, not all sites have electricity points. So when you do your booking, make sure you book a site with the electrical points. And then the other thing I think that's very important is that you've got enough lights. Like when you braai, you want a nice light. And also for the children, they love a headlamp, especially when they play when it's dark, then a headlamp, or if they want to go to the bathroom or everything, then headlamps are very important.
You know what my first item would be, Kyle?
What?
Those screens that you can put up, like to block yourself off and give some privacy from the neighbors. But
as for the wind, that's actually what it's for.
Yeah, let's say it's for the wind.
Yes.
I would probably
that's very important.
I would probably just make the braai list first. That's going to be the most important.
Your braaibak.
Yeah, the rooster, our English is really fantastic today. But all the accessories you need to make that work. And I think secondly, I would probably think about the comfort, because like I said in the intro, if I'm going to go caravanning, it means I want a bit more comfort now than I would have had if I went camping.
With your tent,
Camping with my tent, yes, definitely.
And your bedding is very important, like what you sleep in, your cushions, that I think is like...
I would just take everything in my house, my own pillows, my own bedding, just throw it in the caravan and just go. So Aletta, you... the enthusiast, the caravan enthusiast, do you have a few favorite spots or routes that you like to visit?
Yes, obviously living in the Western Cape, I love going camping next to the Breda River for like weekends. I like to go to different spots. Like if I really love a spot, I would go back again. And then obviously in December's, I love to go camping at the coast. So like Jongensfontein or Hartenbos, or Struisbaai is also very popular. Onrus, that I can think about now.
That sounds good. You take the garden route. I mean, you can do Hartenbos and you go past it, and then you do maybe a Nysna or Plettenberg Bay. See, I'm already planning my trip.
Yeah. I think you have to plan long in advance, though.
Yes.
Like, how far in advance do you have to book? If you're talking about a popular campsite like Jongensfontein, how long does that...
You actually they take bookings like end of this year for next December.
I've heard that,
So, and it's not, it's quite difficult to get a spot.
And I suppose if has been your spot, people tend to sort of hold on to their spot for years and years.
Yes, you try. I mean, every camping spot have their own rules and regulations, but normally we go to Hartenbos over December's, and you would phone and you give like your 3 spots that your preference, and then if your spot has already been taken, then so it's not like every year you get. It's like first come first serve.
I see.
Yes,
all right.
but you get places like Jongensfontein or Keerbooms where you can stay at the same spot every year.
Okay, I wanted to ask, maybe just for like an additional fee, this is your spot now. Right?
I'm not sure about that, but like I say, every camping spot has their own rules and regulations. Okay. Yes.
So I was also wondering, we mentioned I would not go caravanning for a weekend. I would rather go camping, but when it gets longer, a long stay trip, then caravanning makes sense. But when is it a long stay trip?
I think if it's longer than like 4 days.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes, longer than a long weekend.
Okay.
Like a week is, I would say, is long stay.
And then you do proper prep before you go caravanning, but day to day, there's also some maintenance that needs to take place. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, I normally, that's my husband's job.
Okay.
Yes, no, I'm joking. But we would help him and just make sure that your caravan is clean and make sure that if you use like a reflector sheet, lots of people use that in your tents and caravan. For this, that it's not that warm inside.
Okay.
So it reflects the sun rays out. So just make sure that all your ropes are steady, and like in case it starts windy, the wind comes up, that you don't lose a sheet.
I've seen gazebos flying, and it's not a fun time.
Yes, make sure your gazebo and all your hooks are in. Yes.
I'm so glad to hear about the reflector sheet, because the one thing I remember faintly in the back of my mind about a caravan is the heat inside there. I just couldn't get to sleep because it was too warm.
You see, that aircon. You're just going to get all the luxuries, Carl. I suppose it is a bit of a break for mom, because at least the area that you're cleaning every day
is
it's smaller.
Much smaller. I love that. It's not like a house that you have to like clean a whole house. It's like a small space.
And then I also must think that you must have some rules with, kids running in with all the ground.
Yes.
So there must be a couple of tips that you've already figured out when it comes to that.
I think a good tip is that you put a bowl of water, and when your kids come from the beach, they must just clean their feet first. I like most campsites have like outdoor showers. They must go and get all the sand off. Because you don't want sand in a caravan.
No, sleeping in the sand won't work. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I would prefer sleeping in a bed with sand than sleeping in actual sand.
That's what I meant, Carl.
But you know what? Now you've got the kids there and you've got a few rules going, but you've also got a few helpers. You're learning them how to set up the camp, how to, maintain the day-to-day, right?
Yes, it definitely takes teamwork and patience.
Oh,
yes. Especially with if you set up for a long stay. You just have to, because it's hard work. It's hard work. And our biggest rule for the kids is we set up and then you go play. Okay.
I can imagine that being a bit of a fight, but okay.
Yeah, and then also when they have to help with the washing up and cleaning, but they don't normally, like on a day-to-day basis, it's teamwork.
So it's like a learning opportunity for them as well.
Yes.
Guys, this is becoming more and more appealing for me. I'm taking notes. All right, take the child caravanning every year so you can learn this and learn that. I'm sold at this point.
We'll see, Carl.
No. All right, so let's take a short break and then we go review a few products. Let's go see specifically what Outdoor Warehouse can give you to make your caravanning experience excellent.
Sounds great.
The mountains are calling. So what are you waiting for? Get the right adventure gear at Outdoor Warehouse. From day packs and hiking boots to trekking poles and hiking tents. Be prepared for whatever the season brings. And don't forget our expert advice and hiking packing lists available in-store and online at outdoorwarehouse.co.za. Outdoor Warehouse. For every adventure.
For every adventure. The official Outdoor Warehouse podcast that brings you everything you need to know for your next adventure.
So Aletta, the first thing that I noticed on the products for a nice caravanning trip really surprised me. It's the Natural Instinct Bio Potty.
That's
10
the thing you
toilet.
go for.
Well,
the
water potty.
I don't necessarily want to share.
It's a nifty thing to have because, think you have to now get up in the night, go to the ablution blocks, whatever. That's not for me. So you've got it right here. It's easy to clean. So, if that's your...
It's not my thing.
If you're a creature comfort.
Yes.
No?
Yes,
a creature that likes comfort.
Yes.
Then you literally need one of those in your caravan.
Mm-hmm. Or a Dane.
You want to go do it in the dunes, lekker.
Yes.
All right.
I want to bring up one more product, and that's the Natural Instinct electric washing machine. A washing machine. which you just take from place to place. She's making hand gestures.
Yes, so that is also a very good seller.
It's about 5 kilogram. The spin capacity is 1.5 kilogram with a wash capacity of 3 kilogram. So it's not that bad, no?
Yeah, that's something that I must maybe put on my list.
Are there people who just like pack 3 weeks worth of clothes, get a few black bags and just don't wash?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
The other thing that's also one of the products is that hanging...
the washing line.
Yes. So there is washing line. Most campsites have washing lines. But if you prefer to have your washing next to your caravan, that's also a great product to buy.
Yeah, so that's the Natural Instincts aluminium forearm clothes line.
Yes.
Yes, including a carry bag, 3 ground pegs included, lightweight and compact. Oh.
Lights. Aletta, I think the lights, they intrigue me because there's so many different choices and you can literally set them up. It's almost like a tripod if you think about, it looks like a camera tripod. So, I mean, you literally these days have so many options. You can even direct the light, like there's a 360 one that you can turn all the way around so that you know what you're buying.
Yes, there's so many choices and I mean, you can... Whatever is your preference, but there's something for everyone. There's torch lights, headlights, braai lights, like you say, like on a tripod. So there's something for everyone.
Aletta, as a mother, what product would you say stands out for you?
The one thing that has become very popular in the last few years that you see everyone has is a trolley. At Outdoor Warehouse, we sell the Tenko 4x4 folding trolley.
Oh.
And especially people with small kids. You go to the beach, you put everything in the trolley, including your kids. And you don't have to carry everything and you go to the beach for the day. And I've seen so many people then when they go back in lunchtime, the kids would actually fall asleep.
In the trolley?
In the trolley, little kids. And they will take their nap in the trolley. And yeah.
I want a trolley to nap in.
That's great. I suppose you can also use it when you're like setting up and
if you
carting things around.
Yes, I've seen so many people with trolleys. It's so functional and it's definitely a very good seller at our store. So it's very popular.
Space is probably an issue. I mean, to store everything. Do you have any suggestions on storage space?
Yeah, I never can have enough storage space. So we've got like collapsible cupboards that I use for like your groceries, all your food products that you don't have to put in the fridge. I also use it because my kids, they don't sleep in the caravan, they sleep like in that extended rooms. And I would use it to put their clothes in so they don't have to put their clothes and stuff in the caravan. And at Outdoor Warehouse, we've got different shapes. You can buy like one with the 3 shelves or a longer one. So there's different options.
So this is the Natural Instinct 3-tier collapsible cupboard. It looks really nice. Go check it out on outdoorwarehouse.co.za. Steel tube, carry bag included. Size-wise, you're looking at 60 by 48 by 94 centimeters. That's length, width, and height. Collapsible cupboard for easy transport and limited space with ventilation back window, solid fabric front to open or close, and a tabletop.
Yeah, it's very easy to assemble. I think we've got 2 of them. And normally that's the kids' job. They need to assemble the cupboards. And yeah, it's so versatile to use. You can either pack clothes in it or you can put your food in it. So that's definitely top of my list. A product that I would recommend.
So Aletta, we're fully prepped now for our caravanning trip, but things don't always go to plan. Do you have an interesting story where things went the wrong way?
Yeah, I think a few years before I had children, we went camping, and that's also before we had a caravan.
Okay.
We went camping in the Adu Elephant Park. And it started raining very heavily throughout the night, and our tent wasn't waterproof. So it drip throughout the tent. And I think there was like a lesson. You must always be prepped for any weather conditions. And that hasn't happened with us. Obviously, we now have a caravan, so yeah.
That helps. Hey, if you need any tips on camping, go check out our episode with Kobus Potgieter on camping.
Yes, and it's also great to know that Outdoor Warehouse, they have all these experts in store. And I mean, we've also now learned that you need to sort of test everything beforehand, the tent and everything. But what makes this great is the experts are on hand. So, I mean, you can even get your list there of suggested what you need to pack and everything. So it's wonderful that you guys have all that for us.
Yes, any questions, you can just go to the store, your nearest store, and ask for advice.
Also, reach out to us on social media, Outdoor Warehouse. We'd love to answer any questions you have about any of the episodes you've listened to so far. By the way, Spotify and Apple, that's where you find us for every adventure. Every second Wednesday, a new episode drops.
It's been great, Aletta. Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
Join the For Every Adventure podcast as we explore the great outdoors.